I think we're all looking for something to help us feel better, but in a real way. This isn't just taking a pill. This is something, we're engaged, we're involved in this process.
When you're talking about people with post-traumatic stress syndrome and just really intense things or years of addictions, and they've tried everything, to get rid of it, and they do this process, and in a couple of days or whatever, it's, they have a dramatic shift. I mean, there's something going on there.
I consider it the people's method. It's there for all of us, and literally at our fingertips.
I just wish I'd learned this 30 years ago, 39 years ago, but I'm just thankful I learned it now.
It's wonderful for nightmares and anxiety that kids have going to school.
Kids are making up their mind. We've got to change ours. It's a lot easier to make up your mind than it is to change it.
So to be able to have the resources where, kids are able to clear out those kind of traumas that day, right within a few hours, so it doesn't even affect the rest of their day, much less the rest of their life.
I certainly hope that it'll be used in schools with children. I think that that's a really wonderful, there's such a wonderful opportunity there.
And what that person is going to go on and achieve in life, because they're going to share their gifts and talents, because they're not feeling blocked by the fact that they were laughed at from some simple little event that happens, all the time.
Because that's where things start, right? Something happens in school and it upsets them, and they decide that the older kids are always bad because of one thing that happened with a bully in 8th grade. And if we could just collapse those conflicts and those events at the end of every day or the end of every week, those children would grow up with more confidence, less insecurity, less vulnerability to being hurt by other people.
I believe that every person is born as a cell in this human body, and if we all achieve our full potential, I might be a liver cell and you're a kidney cell and someone's an eyeball cell and someone else is a lung cell, and if all the cells are doing what they're supposed to do, then the whole world works. Problem is when we try to be what we're not, or try to deny what we really truly feel and want to do, that then we get like cancer cells in the body that are not aligned with what the rest of the purpose of the body is.
Our beliefs of competition and warfare and struggle and survival completely miss the point. It's really based on loving, harmony, thriving, community, cooperation. These are the words of life.
If I'm going around and I'm at peace, I'm naturally going to be nicer to other people. And if I'm being nicer to other people, then hopefully they're going to pick up on that and they'll be nicer to other people, and suddenly you've got this chain reaction.
It could transform the entire culture because they'll have the tool, they'll be using it, and then you'll be preventing future illness. It's the ultimate prevention.
It's spreading so fast. I think this will be standard, kind of like, if you get the hiccups and someone goes boo, because if you scare yourself, your hiccups go away. I think it's going to be as common knowledge as that.
I think there's a spiritual transition taking place in the world. People are starting to understand spirit. People are starting to understand energy. People are starting to understand themselves as an energy field, and the fact that they can work with it to get the results they want. There are critics, and there's quite a few, but they're changing very fast.
If you don't know about these processes, these mechanisms, we're ignorant of these facts, and then things happen to us, of course we don't know what's going on, and what can I do about it? Nobody told me. But once you know, then you can't go back and do that anymore. You can say, okay, history, everything that happened to me up to this point, I was oblivious to, I was ignorant of, I don't know. But from this point forwards, I'm going to take control. Now I own my life.
And here's the man, right here. He did such an awesome job. Hey, buddy. Absolutely.
Jackie and I met up at the airport to fly in last night, and she said to me, are you wearing, a brace or a support thing? And I thought in my mind, why would I? I did. I was kind of like, why would she ask that? Wow. But I guess she didn't realize that literally since that weekend, and I don't know which day. It was interesting hearing you all say like on the second day and on the first, because in a way that whole weekend was a blur, yes. but a good blur, not a, So I don't know exactly when it happened, but I just have never had that back pain since. So before when I would travel and fly, I would always have to wear some sort of a brace or have all my patches, medicines, you know, you name it, you know, John. And I don't have any of that for this. I think I have one little thing, but yeah, I don't wear any sort of those things. And Jackie was like, "You want me to take your bag?" And I was like, "No, I'm fine. You know, I'm okay, I am."
It's changed my whole life.
Yeah.
It's changed my whole life. And I see it in the rest of us too. I can work without hurting. That's the thing, I can do it without hurting. I could never sit on the floor. I could sit on the floor. It was difficult to get down there, but I could never get back up. It was very, very difficult to get back up. The last day I come in and all the chairs were taken and the only place to sit was on the floor. I said, well, let's try this, you know. I was on that floor until late that night.
I kept waiting, thinking, knee pain went away, it's coming back.
Yeah.
It's coming back. Well, guess what? Never a twinge, nothing. Nothing came back, so that was an absolute proof to me. And then I went for walks and stuff too, but no pain whatsoever.
It's hard to put into words how the feeling is after so many years being in so much pain and then not having it anymore.
That whole weekend, nothing. And it's been 6 months, it's not coming back, it's gone. It's completely gone. I don't expect that to ever return.
For so long I kind of felt like I was on the outside looking in, and now I feel like I belong. And it's just a shift in consciousness, but it's a huge one for me because it's just a different feeling. I feel like I belong here, whereas before, like in other settings, I would just feel like an outsider, like, so.
Sometimes I find it not hard, but challenging when you're in the cancer center getting them back in treatments again, and I'm there almost every day for this first month of my clinical trial I'm on, and you're just surrounded with not sick people, but basically chronically ill people, and you can't help but go there, and sometimes just having that tool that you can sit there in your chair quietly tapping away and just working through whether the emotion's fear or anxiety or unknown, you know, you're not sure what's happening in the future.
I don't have a sweets craving. I don't eat cake and pies like I used to. And I didn't even realize, and I shared this also, I hadn't even realized that I go into Dunkin' Donuts almost every day and I never buy a donut. And I said, you know, I have to really assess what's going on here, because I keep saying, well, you know, I'm not tapping, you know, regularly, I'm not tapping daily, and I'm not getting the effects. But I do tap irregularly, and I do tap occasionally, and I do tap and grab moments.
Went from a 38 to a 36 again, so I'm looking to get back to a 34. Actually, I was a 40. And I was a 40. I went from a 40 to a 36, so I'm back to my original 36 in 3 months. But the whole thing about the whole weekend, that I was able to like say conquer, was not to play back that horrific day all the time, because that was driving me nuts. And being able to live with some pain, because I live with pain. I mean, as I speak to you now, I still feel a little, very little pain. That I know that Raquel's not with me, but I know she is. Somehow she is.
I just like one thing my daughter said to my wife. She says, "Who is this man? I don't know him." But she says, "I like it, but I want to keep him." That was a big thing for me, you know. So there was a lot of things during that 4 days